Okay. Okay. Now record started.
Yes, that's what.
Just give 1 second. Just 1 second, Nana. 1 minute.
Okay.
Hari Om Nana.
Hari Om Talli. Ekkadunnao?
Here.
Oh, okay.
Nana,
Okay.
నేను బేగంపేటలో ఉన్నాను. I'm starting this recording has started. I'll just mute everyone, then you can unmute yourself.
Okay. All the best.
You can unmute yourself, Nana, and you can start.
Done. Done. Can I start, Suma?
Yes, go ahead, Nana.
Yeah. Om. 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 ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अथ सप्तमोऽध्यायः ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच I am on the 14th verse. Okay. दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी 14. दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रवर्त्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञानाः आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जना सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्धार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभा ये चैव सात्विका भावाः राजसास्तामसाश्च ये No, I skipped one. Tesham jnani nityayuktaha ekabhaktirvisishyate priyo hi jnanino tyardham aham sacha mama priyaha udara sarva evaite jnane tvatvaiva me matam astita sahi yuktatma मामेवानुत्तमां गतिं बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेव सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः कामैस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम् सतया श्रद्धया युक्तः तस्याराधनमीहते लभते च ततः कामान् मयैव विहितान् हितान् अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसां देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि sorry अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्तः मामाव्ययमनुत्तमं नाहं प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम् वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्याणि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छा द्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम्. Can we please go to the first verse? No, you have gone to the 6th chapter, I think. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's okay. No, good. Yeah, you are almost there. Yeah. Yeah. The first verse. Yeah. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Say there are some verses in this chapter which require us to make a firm note and be careful about understanding them. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yadhagyasisi Tachruno. I will run through only the Tatparyas of these verses and request you kindly make a note of the Tatparya. Yeah, Bhagavan said, Hey Partha, please listen to the way in which you will know me totally. Samagram Mam Yadhagyasisi, without any doubt, by taking to yoga with a mind committed to me and having surrendered to me. Taking to yoga would here mean both the jhana and the karma yogas. Taking to yoga with a mind committed to me and having surrendered to me. And in the second verse, he says, Jnanam teham savijnanam idam makshyami aseshataha yat jnatva na iha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avasishyate. The Tatparya says, knowing I will teach you without any omission this knowledge along with immediate knowledge. Jnanam vijnana sahitam. Knowledge is jnanam, immediate knowledge is vijnanam. I will teach you without any omission, jnanam and vijnanam, knowing which there is nothing more than this remaining here to be known. There is nothing more to be known. And in the third verse he says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. This third verse tatparya and the tatparya of the first two verses will have to be read kind of together. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Amongst thousands of people, a rare person makes an effort for moksha. Even among those seekers who make such an effort, only a rare person comes to know me in reality. What does that mean? The first two verses apply here. The first two verses, what did Bhagavan say? Asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnasisi tachruno. How you will know me totally, please listen. And he also said, having known this, I will teach you jnanam together with vijnanam, yat jnatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avasishyate. Having known which, there is nothing else that remains for you to know. And that indicates you will have to be here. Amongst those seekers making effort, a rare person comes to know me in reality. This kind of a person will appreciate the essence of the first two verses. The tatparya of the first two verses apply to such a person. Manushyanam sahasreshu. That means what? We have to put in adequate effort in the direction indicated by Bhagavan to know him totally. And elsewhere he says, Matta parataram nanyat. And I think that's the seventh verse. Seventh, I think. Matta parataram nanyat kinkidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam sutre maniganaha iva. There is nothing other than me. Hey Dhananjaya, there is no other cause superior to me. All this is woven in me like the beads in a string, like the flowers in a garland. That means what? Bhagavan is saying, there is nothing other than me. I am included in you and everything else that you see. Mattaha parataram na anyat. Kinchit asti dhananjaya, not even an iota remains without me being the cause. Maya sarvamidam protam sutre maniganaha iva. And elsewhere, when Bhagavan has described the fourfold bhaktas, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino Arjuna, I think 15th verse or 16th verse. Artho jignyasuradhardi jnani cha bharatarshava. Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukritino Arjuna. Correct. 16th. Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukritino Arjuna. Artho jignyasuradhardi jnani cha bharatarshava. All these people are really very noble people, but amongst them, I am indeed the Jnani. Jnani is indeed I. And Jnani is Priyaha to me, and I am very dear to the Jnani. That is what he said in the next verse. Can you roll to the 17th? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Tesham Jnani Nityayuktaha Eka Bhaktir Visishyate Priyo hi Jnanino Chardam Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. Priyo hi Jnaninaha Iti Ardham Aham. I am Achanta Priyaha for the Jnani. And Sacha Mama Priyaha. That kind of a Jnani is also very dear to me. Tesham, amongst these fourfold bhaktas, Tesham Jnani Nityayuktaha, the one who is always united in thought, word, and deed to me, to my tattva. And what is my tattva? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. He is united to me always. Eka Bhaktir Visishyate. This is an unsullied bhakti. Eka Bhakti, it is like the Ajyadharaya. Ajyadharaya Shrotasa Samam. Okay, Bhakti Uttamam. That kind of a bhakti is Uttamam. Ajyadharaya. Ajya means you don't equate Ajya to ghee. You substitute oil to that. Ajyadhara. When you let go from a can, a little oil, keep on pouring that oil, Ajyadhara. Is there any break in that oil? In that Ajyadhara, in the dhara, in the oil dhara, that is a stream of oil that you are pouring, is there any break? And the bhakti, Eka Bhakti Visishyate, that Eka Bhakti, Avyabhicharini Bhakti, bhakti that does not waver, that does not nengate. In the 6th chapter we have seen nengate yathadipo nivatasto nengate sopama smritaha yogino yatatisya chittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. That kind of a yoga he has adopted, and as he has come to realize that he and I are not different at all. That kind of a jnani is Achyanta Priyaha to me, and I am very dear to him. Eka Bhakti Visishyate. That is important. This Eka Bhakti is important. Otherwise, these slokas will be simple inputs for our intelligence to appreciate the essence of the slokas, and later on we will go to some other sloka, some other text. It does not help. Eka Bhakti Visishyate. Tesham Jnani Nityayuktaha. We must have the conviction that we indeed can be the Jnani. In the description by Bhagavan, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye Yatatamapi Siddhanam Kaschit Mam Vete Tattvataha. Why I can't be that Kaschit, that one person amongst thousands of people who make an effort to know who indeed is Paramatma. So that requires a sthira swabhavaha, a tremendous commitment, and nishta, a commitment and jnana nishta. If you are able to kind of discern who is Paramatma, you must be established in that. In the 6th chapter, we have seen yato nischarati manaschanchalam astiram tatastato niyamyaitat atmani eva vasham nayet. Have we not seen? Yataha nischarati manaha chanchalam astiram. The chanchalam manaha, which is astiram, unsteady, okay, unstable mind, wherever it kind of goes away. Tataha yato nischarati tatastato niyamyaitat. There you must establish the mind in Atma Bhava. Tatastato niyamyaitat Atmani eva vasham nayet. You hand it over to Atma. This mind, you hand it over to the thought of Atma, with which you started in your jhana and contemplation, isn't it? That you hand it over to Atma. It is the nature of the mind. It is the great vibhuti of the mind also to keep on going places. Astiram, chanchalam, it is its swabhava. Appreciating that, treat the mind very tenderly, treat the mind as though like a mother treats an infant. And Atmani eva vasham nayet. That Eka Bhakti. When you do that, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, you can be one. Who can be one? That kind of a Drudha Nishchaya is required. Right? Now, 18th verse, please. Some of these verses we have covered. Just for clarity, I am recovering that. Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatvaiva me matam astita sahi yuktatma mameva uttamam gatim. Mameva uttamam gatim. See here, astitaha sahi yuktatma mameva mameva anuttamam gatim. Mameva anuttamam gatim. Uttama is what? Superior. Anuttama is nothing other than that is superior. Anuttamam, there is nothing greater than that. Mameva, me alone. Anuttamam gatim, that gati, that abode of mine, which cannot be improved upon by any other gati, that is my abode. Sahi, that person, yuktatma, mameva, and he is always immersed in my thoughts. Astitaha sahi yuktatma mameva anuttamam gatim. Udara sarva evaite. All these people are indeed very noble, very highly respected. They are bhaktas. It's not easy to become a bhakta. Artho jignasu radhardi, even though the other three are bhaktas for meeting their ends, but still they have the thought of Paramatma in their mind. They pray to Paramatma, whereas no other person will ever even think of Paramatma. That is why they are Udaraha. They are part of nobility of the bhaktas. Udara sarva evaite parantu jnani tu atma eva me matam. My opinion, my vision is indeed jnani is I. Astita, because astita sahi yuktatma mameva anuttamam gatim. Mameva anuttamam. He seeks me as the final abode. All these indeed are exalted, but the one who knows me is myself alone. This is my vision, because he, the Jnani, the one whose mind is absorbed in me, has reached me alone, the end beyond which there is no other. There is no end. Anuttamam gatim, that is. Mameva anuttamam gatim. When we chant, we will have to be careful. I carelessly chanted uttamam gatim. Mameva anuttamam gatim. Okay? Now, next verse, please. Most of these we have covered, but Now, here, this is another verse we'll have to be very careful about. We must read this verse together with the first three verses, and Matta Parataram Nanyata, that 7th verse. Matta Parataram Nanyata Kinkidasti Dhananjaya. These verses are to be understood together. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabaha. That Mahatma, that great person, Mahatma. Mahatma means the person who has a very great mind. Here, Atma means mind. Mahan Manasaha. That person who has a great mind. Great mind which thinks of nothing other than Kitaya. And how does he think of Kitaya? Vasudevaha Sarvamiti. Vasudevaha eva Sarvamiti. Sarvam idam jagat is Vasudeva eva, is Bhagavan Krishna eva. And if you recollect what you generally chant in the Vishnu Sahasranamam, what did Vyasa Maharshi say? Vasanad Vasudevasya Vasitam Bhavanatrayam Sarvaloka Nivasosi Vasudeva Namostute. That Vasudeva is defined there by Bhagavan Vyasa. It's not simple son of Vasudeva, the Prince Vasudeva, who has begotten Krishna, and so Krishna has become Vasudeva. Yeah, that is also one of the meanings, but the actual meaning for a bhakta, for a karma yogi, for a yogi who is a jhana yogi, and the person who is keen on contemplation, knowing Bhagavan and nothing else, that Vasudeva means what? Vasanat Vasudevasya Vasitam Bhavanatrayam. It is the Vasudeva Tattvam has enveloped the entire three worlds, Bhuvanatrayam. Sarvaloka Nivasosi Vasudeva Namostute. Actually, Sarvaloka means that Loka means the beings. He has pervaded every being. He has pervaded every being. He is in you, in me, and in the rock, in the stream, in Akasha, in the plant, and in the inert material, everything. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. That's the meaning when Bhagavan said in the 7th verse, Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasya Dhananjaya. There is nothing other than me, Arjuna. Hey Dhananjaya, Mattaha. Apart from me, Parataram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. There is not even an iota that you see, that you perceive, that you can't even think of, you can't even cognize. All those things are available. What you don't know does not mean you can dismiss that. You don't know, that's okay. That's okay. Like a blind man cannot see the sun, that's okay. But the sun can't be negated. There are things you don't know. And all those things, what you have not known, this entire Jagat, all that is pervaded by me. And apart from me, there's nothing else. Matta parataram nanyate. So that verse and this verse, we will have to kind of integrate the tatparyas and understand the meanings totally. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. That kind of a Mahatma is very, very difficult to get. That is why earlier Bhagavan said what? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatata siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschinmam vetti tatvatah. That is the meaning. That's the emphasis. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Why can't we be that? Our effort must be to readable our conviction in our search for ourselves, in our research for ourselves. The last self of mine, I would research and get. Next verse. Yeah. Kamai. Yeah. Kamaihi taihi hrutajnanaha prapadyante anya devataha tam niyamamastaya prakrutya niyata swaya. Beautiful verses. The set of verses, next 4-5 verses are very beautiful and they apply to all of us in our real life. In our real life, we totally conform to the essence of all these verses, 4-5 verses. Don't be under the impression that we are separate and we are great and things like that. Our interest is to become great because we have got the jijnasa and we are mumukshus. Jnatum ichuhu aham. I want to know what it is. I want to know the reality. Jnatum ichuhu. And mumukshuhu. Moksho me bhuyad iti ichuhu. Because of these two qualifications, we are entitled to go beyond the essence of the next 4-5 verses. Go beyond. We must make an effort to go beyond. And for that, a conviction is necessary. A kind of a discriminative conviction is necessary that we are indeed stuck here. We must go beyond this. We are really stuck here. And how do we go beyond this? And kamaihi taihi hrutajnanaha, desires. Taihi, those, different desires. Taihi, hrutajnanaha. Jnana is kind of swallowed. Jnana is swallowed. Prapajyante anya devataha. They worship other deities. Anya devataha. Tam niyamam asthaya prakrutya niyata swaya. Swaya, their own prakrutya, their own swabhava, their own prakrutya niyataha. Niyamamastaya. Niyamamastaya means what is stipulated in that puja, in that yajna, yaga, whatever you undertake to appease this devata. Prapajyante anya devata. The anya devata, prapanam, you are striving for, isn't it? And for that, there are some niyamams. You will have to do this, you will have to do that, you have to chant so many things, and you have to give this kind of arrangement. This is the material that is required, and that is the dakshina that is required. So many people you need to feed with the yajna prasada, all those things, niyamas. Tam niyamamastaya, conforming to all those niyamas. Swaya prakrutya niyataha. Their own prakriti, whatever has dictated, they conform to all those. And all those are because of what? Kamaihi, taihi hrutajnanaha, prapajyante anya devataha. Those whose discrimination is robbed away by their own particular desires. Their own particular desires. Kamaihi, taihi hrutajnanaha, robbed away, discrimination. And because of these desires, driven by their own dispositions, swaya prakrutya niyataha, swaya, their own, prakrutya, their own swabhava, and the swabhava is prakriti janitam, and that prakriti is applicable to that person, that set of persons, you, me, everybody who conforms to this prakrutya. And that prakriti is because of what? Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine atmajnana pradhanena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Why do we prostrate to the jnani who is our guru? Why? Because we want to get out of this samsara bandhanam, and that has given the prakriti. Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine. That karma bandha has given us some samskara, and that has manifested in this janma in the form of prakriti. Swaya prakriti, our own prakriti. Those whose discrimination is robbed away by their own particular desires, driven by their own dispositions, worship other gods following what is stipulated. Now here, one thing is to be clearly understood. Bhagavan, when he has evolved the Jagat, he has created the Jagat, he also created, he did not simply create the Jagat and leave us to fend for ourselves. He has created everything, a set of laws, a set of rules, and all those rules are inviolable. They cannot be modified. They shall not go through some amendments, and those are inviolable laws. Bhagavan is the karma adhyaksha. He is the president of all kinds of actions, and he is the karma phaladata. When the karma phala, karma is what? Kamaihi, taistaihi, hrutajnanaha, prapajyante anya devataha. This is the karma which I am doing. Though I am compelled to do that because of the pressure of my desires, but that is a karma. And that karma must have some karma phala. And he is the karma phaladata. Not only karma adhyaksha, he is the karma phaladata. And because he is the karma phaladata, he has to ordain for whatever action that anybody does. This is the phala, And who has to give that phala? So and so officer will have to give. And who is that officer? That devata. Whoever you propitiate, whoever you worship, and that person has to obey, the effect of the karma that you have executed, and give you the requisite karma phala. And that karma phala is already ordained by the Lord. Karma jaksha, karma phala, and those things they cannot be changed. And that happens, keeps on happening. And that is how the dharma is generally protected. Kamaihi taistaihi hrutajnanaha prapadyante anya devataha tam nemamastaya prakrutya niyata swaya. That Bhagavan is going to say in the next verse. What is stipulated, you have done. You have conformed to what is the method you have to adopt, and you have fully discharged your duty regarding the puja that you have done, the worship you have offered to the deity, and you have sought some karma phala. Hey, please give me this. And that karma phala will be given to you by who? By the same deity. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayachyutamichyate tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. See here, yo yo yam yam tanuhu. Tanuhu means the form. Tanuhu is normally vapuhu, form. That is the body, or the form that you want to propitiate, you want to do puja of any deity. You name a deity, yo yo yam yam, whatever deity, in whatever form. There are some deities who will have not a manushya form, maybe a different form. So yam yam tanuhu bhaktaha, yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha. Bhaktaha means you and I. Shraddhayachyutamichyati. With shraddha, endowed with the requisite shraddha. Achyutam ichyati. We want to do the worship. Tasya achalam shraddham. For those people, the unwavering shraddha, a shraddha which does not vanish, a shraddha which is constant during the course of this puja. Tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. I shall, Bhagavan Krishna is saying, tameva vidadhamyaham. I will make that shraddha very firm in their minds. And with that they will execute whatever kamaihi taistaihi krutajnanaha prapadyante anya devataha tam niyamamastaya prakrutya niyata swaya. In the earlier verse we have seen, for executing that kind of a puja, yajna, yaga, I will give the requisite shraddha and ensure it does not waver. Whoever be the devotee, and in whichever form of devata he wishes to worship with faith, indeed that same faith I make firm for him. Whoever be the devotee, yo and yam yam tanuhu, whatever form of that devata you want to propitiate, I am the witness for everything. And I am also, because I am the karma jaksha, karma phaladata, I will ensure that things are okay. Whoever be the devotee, and in whichever form of a devata he wishes to worship with faith. This is important, the shraddha, that faith. Indeed, that same faith I make firm for him. Next verse, please. Sataya shraddhaya yuktaha tasya aradhanamihate labhate cha tata kaman mayeva vihitan hitan. Mayeva vihitan hitan. See here, earlier I said Bhagavan's laws, unviolable laws, those things cannot be amended, and you can't transgress those laws. And there is nothing like a court you need to go when somebody transgresses the laws, because nobody can. Labhante cha tata kaman mayeva vihitan hitan. Sataya shraddhaya yuktaha. Sataya shraddhaya yuktaha. Endowed with the requisite shraddha. Tasya aradhana mihate. They have done the puja of the devata. Okay? They have done. And they have to get the phala, isn't it? Labhate cha tata kaman mayeva vihitan hitan. There are two types of meanings which are possible, but we need not worry about hair splitting these things. What we should understand is the phala will be available to the bhakta through the devata. The phala will be available to the bhakta through the devata as given by me. That is what Bhagavan is saying. Mayeva vihitan hitan, as ordained by me. That is the Bhagavan's laws. He who endowed with faith engages in worship of the devata, gains from the devata those objects of desire that are definitely ordained by me alone. This is part of the laws that he has promulgated along with the creation of the Jagat. Right? This is the other meaning. Who endowed with the faith engages in worship of the devata, gains from the devata he has worshipped the very desirable objects of desire that are ordained by me. Whatever objects he has desired, for which he has done the puja, that yajna, yaga, whatever, that those objects I will give. That's what is the promise by Bhagavan. But Bhagavan is very carefully cajoling all of us, saying what? Hey, don't get stuck here. My dear bhaktas, you are very, very dear to me. And I want you to be the jnanis, because when you become the jnani, you are dear to me and I am dear to you. You are indeed a jnani tvatvaiva me matam. I have said that a number of times. And understand this. Why I am giving you this kind of an input is because antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati achalpamedhasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi antavattu phalam tesham. See the pratipadartha. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati achalpamedhasam. Ati alpa. Ati means very, alpa means very low. Alpa means very insufficient. Okay? Alpa medhasam. Medhas is the discriminative faculty, the faculty which thinks of what is good, what is beneficial, what is hitam to you, what is shreyodayakam to you. That kind of a thinking that is not available for these people who are what? Ati alpa medhasam. Tad bhavati ati alpa medhasam. It happens to those ati alpa medhasam, people who have no vyavasayatmika buddhi. Tad bhavati ati alpa medhasam. Antavattu phalam tesham. For these people with ati alpa medhas, what happens? Antavattu phalam tesham. The phalam that they have sought from the devata is antavattu. It is finite. Antavattu means it is not an endless phala. It is not an endless phala. Your desire to go, like it was mentioned in the second chapter. Second chapter, what is that? Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadancha vipaschitaha vedavadarata pardha na anyadasti iti vadinaha kamatmanaha swargaparaha. People who say that is the ultimate, that is the infinite happiness, swargaparaha, what they say is wrong. And that Swarga also is finite. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavati atyalpamedhasam. Devan devayajoyanti. People who worship the devas. Devas means different kinds of deities, whom we do normally. Depending on our craving for a particular result, we pick and choose the devata whom we propitiate. Don't we do that? Devan, Devajajoyanti, Devayajaha, people like us, Devayajaha, Devan Yanti. You worship the Deva, you will gain the Deva. Mad Bhakta Yanti Mamapi. Hey Arjuna, whoever worships me, he will indeed gain me. And gain me is what? That me is what? Ajam nirvikalpam nirakaramekam niranandamanandam advaita rupam. That me. And that antavattu phalam tesham, they cannot get me because they are keen on the worship of the devas. They are going to, if you allow me to say so, they are going and begging the MLAs and MPs for their needs. They are not going to the Prime Minister of the country for their needs. The Prime Minister will give you whatever you want. You go petition to him. And Madbhaktayanti Mamapi, like the Prime Minister of the entire world, he is saying, Madbhaktayanti Mamapi. Right?
Nanaji,
Yeah, yes,
so
please.
these devatas are the Ishta Devata, Grama Devata, Kula Devata and all that?
All those are included in that. All. There's nothing wrong. See, Bhagavan is not saying, understand this very, very carefully. Bhagavan said it time and again. In the 3rd chapter, Bhagavan very, very clearly said, what did he say? Don't unsettle the mind of Ajnanis. Let them keep on doing what they are doing. You undertaking your own activities in a much better way, make them see you and pick up some threads from you. Na buddhi bedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. You people recollect the 3rd chapter verse? Don't you unsettle the mind of people who are wedded to these kind of activities. It is okay. It is much better than not doing anything. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmadhyayo hya karmanaha. Not doing anything is not a great thing. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Your niyata karma you do. And that you may be doing ajnanena, but no matter, you have some commitment, you have some nishtha, continue the work. You will realize what you are doing is not the be all and do all, and you will graduate away from that to something higher, something glorious, something much more beneficial, something which is Shreyodayakam. You will in time realize that is the purpose of Bhagavan cautioning in the 3rd chapter. Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. Now we all come under this category. Ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. Because of prakriti. People are different because of different prakritis. There is an uttamadhikari, there is a madhyamadhikari, there is an adhamadhikari, there is also perhaps an adhamadhamadhikari who does not even think of the Lord at all, even in his wildest of dreams. Adhamadhamadhikari. It's okay. It is because of their prakriti. Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine. For getting or cutting asunder the karma bandha, you are what? Prostrating to the Guru. Karma bandha vidahine atma jnana pradhanena tasmai shri gurave namaha. In the Guru Stotram, don't we say that? Why do we do that? Because our Prakriti is so very mean, so very inadequate for our appreciation of the nature of Bhagavan. Hey Guru, please lift me. And he will certainly. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. You remember that 4th chapter verse? Upadeshanti te pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Some of the beautiful verses of the Gita should get into the system, into the mind, never to be erased. Antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavachyalpa medhasam devan devajajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Hey, be my devotee. I will take care of you. Madbhakta yanti mamapi. But for those who have limited discrimination, result is finite. Those who worship the gods, go to the gods. Those who worship me, go to me indeed. Okay, next verse. Yeah. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mam abuddhayah param bhavam ajanantah mama vyayamanutamam. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mam abuddhayah. Abuddhayah means people who are buddhi vihinaha. Buddhi vihinaha means in respect of my nature. Bhagavan is saying, manyante mam what? They consider me as Vyaktimapannam. Vyaktimapannam means I have taken to a form like Devaki Nandana Krishna. Vasudeva Sutaha Krishna. Though I am avyaktam, I am unmanifest. Vyaktimapannam manyante mam abuddhayaha. People without any proper knowledge of me, who indeed I am, without any appreciation of who I am, they will think I am Vyaktimapannam. Oh, that fellow Kitaya, I know that fellow. I know, I have seen him taking all the cattle into the forest. And one day he was playing with the gopis and he even forgot about bringing the cattle back. I know all that. He was given to a lot of pranks. He was creating a lot of trouble to the gopikas. All these things I know. So this kind of a thought, abuddhayaha, mam vyaktim apannam manyante, that I have taken to a form, iti, they will consider. Param bhavam ajanantaha, they do not know my param bhavam. What is that param bhavam? Mam avyayam anuttamam. Avyayam, indeclinable. Avyayam anuttamam, there is nothing higher than me. There is nothing greater than me. There is nothing more glorious than me. That they will never know. Because abuddhayaha, those who lack discrimination, not knowing my limitless, changeless nature. Changeless is where? Where did he say this changeless? Avyayam. Vyaya is what? Expenditure. Avyayam, you can't expend. Then you don't expend, the entire wad of notes is with you. It is changeless. It is with you all the time. Changeless, my limitless. Mam avyayam anuttamam, limitless. That is why anuttamam, my limitless, changeless nature, beyond which there is nothing greater. Look upon me, who is formless, as one endowed with a manifest form. Manifest form. But there are people, even during the Dwapara Yuga, Mahabharata times, there are people who have full knowledge of who indeed Bhagavan Krishna was. Such persons were indeed very, very rare. One was Bhishmacharya, another was Vidura, A third one was perhaps Kunti. And most of the Pandavas have appreciated that Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is he's a divine person. Though they did not know his great divine nature in totality, they appreciated that he is not an ordinary person. Those who lack discrimination, not knowing my limitless, changeless nature, there is which beyond which there's nothing greater, look upon me who is formless as one endowed with a manifest form. Next verse, please. Yeah. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam naham prakasha sarvasya. That is, he is indirectly saying, hey, you fellow, you got a dirty mind, and in that dirty mind, how do you expect me to manifest? How do you expect me to manifest in your dirty mind? I was coming to you every day, but your mind is closed on me. How can you ever think of me when you can't have the reflection of me in your dirty mind? Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Mam, me, ajam, unborn, avyayam, indeclinable. This is changeless. Mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Naham prakasha sarvasya. I don't. It's indirectly saying I don't shine in every place. Like even the sun can claim. I don't reflect a lot of light from some dark objects. Supposing he can say, Naham prakasha sarvasya. Bhagavan, what he's saying is, Yoga Maya Samavritaha. Yoga Maya is Maya indeed. This is perhaps poetic expression. Yoga Maya can be considered as Maya, which is Trigunatmikam. We know Maya without Trigunas, there is no Maya, because the entire Jagat is creation of Maya, and the entire Jagat is what? Entire Jagat is Trigunatmikam, isn't it? Brahmashreya Satvarajastamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. Tattva Bodha, please recollect your lessons. Maya Asti. Tataha Akasha Sambhutaha. So Akasha is Trigunatmikam. That is why in the Tattva Bodha we have had what? From Akashasya Satvikamshat Shrotrendriyam Sambhutam. All these things we have learnt, is it not? And these Tamasic Amsha also is there for Akasha, Agni, Vayu, Jalam and Prithvi, and all those, the Tamas Amsha, after Panchikaranam, the Jagat, visible Jagat is available. We have appreciated that when we were going through Tattva Bodha. Yoga Maya Samavritaha. Yoga Maya is Trigunatmika Maya. I don't know why Yoga Maya is mentioned. Maya is Maya. Yoga Maya Samavrita. Maybe it is part of the poetry and the chandas. Mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Mudha mam abhijanati. Mam lo mudha mudhoyam nama abhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Na, that na has to be appropriately used. Mudaha, I am mudaha. This muda fellow, na janati. Mam ajam avyayam. I am not recognized by everyone. Why? Because everyone has got a dull mind. I am not recognized by everyone because everyone's mind is polluted. Isn't it? Ajnana kalusham jivam jnana abhyasad vinirmalam. We have seen in Atma Bodha, isn't it? Ajnana kalusham jivam, and the mind is full of that ajnana kalusham. Jnana abhyasat vinirmalam. And when that jnana abhyasa is full and fruitful, then Bhagavan will manifest. I am not recognized by everyone. A person completely covered by yoga maya, maya united with the three gunas. Yeah, he is deluded and does not know me properly as the one who is unborn and changeless. There is another meaning given. Okay, we will see this tomorrow. Any doubts also you may have, very likely you will have. We will cover those tomorrow before we take up the next set of verses. Okay. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om, Nana.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om,
Hari Om.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We will go through the balance verses, and we will go through, before we go through the balance verses, any doubts you people may entertain. We will discuss those doubts, go through the balance verses, and we will chant the Gita Mahatyam, and time permitting, we will enter the portals of the 8th chapter, which I doubt, I don't know. Okay, 1 hour is too little to do all these things, but let us see. Bhagavad Krupa, if it is with us, we will enter the 8th chapter. Okay, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Nanaji.
Hari Om.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev, Hari Om. You can start the manana, huh?
In these verses, Bhagavan is reassuring or kind of pulling us towards the highest, not to get stuck with the lower desires. And yet we are caught up with, because of our samsara, aneka janma samsara, we are caught up with all those desires and the yoga maya that is pulling us towards our that vrittis. So he says nothing wrong with going to the devatas and getting your desires fulfilled. Even that is given by me, but that is finite. To come to me, you have to become that jnani. There is no difference between me and the jnani. The changeless, infinite self. And for which that's where we need the guru. Because it's only the guru who can lift us out from the karma bandha that we have. Aneka janma samsara, karma bandha. Only the guru can lift us up. So we are all on the right path. That's what is my summary for today.
Very nice, very nice. We were discussing, no, many times we get into the dilemma that whether to perform all these pujas, yajnas, and all our throughout the year we have so many festivals, and so all these devatas are there. Devlok is there, and they bestow us with all the whatever comforts we want. We pray and we get it, but it has its own means cause and effect kind of thing, and punyas, and they give the result, and that's all. But here, when we are sitting for the highest knowledge, then our focus should be not on small desires, but for the highest. So that is why I think Nana also has mentioned that don't get caught up into all those kind of karma kand, what we say, no, prescribed by Vedas. Yes, it is needed, and we have done it. We have done it for so many lifetimes. That is why we have reached here for the highest knowledge. So keep your eye for the highest. In the meantime, as per whatever social these things activities are there, participate as and when, but don't get totally engrossed and lost into it, because it is the unending thing. That's what again, because many times as householders we have these things, na, ye karna hai, wo karna hai, wo karna hai, like unending prescriptions are there, and it is going round and round, and when we get the result we feel so happy, but uska koi ant nahi hai. We need to understand this, that Devloka and its results, we pray to them, and we get out of that something, some pleasures. But it is also merry-go-round only. When that thing dawns in the mind, immediately we should channelize ourselves for the highest knowledge, especially in such kind of groups when we are getting to sit with Nana ji and all. What do you all say? Please correct me. Otherwise, again and again we fall now that Shravana month is coming and unending prescriptions are there to follow, to purify the minds. But up to the purification, are we keeping it up to that limit, or we extend it, our energy, time, and our resources to be in that, getting in, caught up in that? We need to have that kind of viveka. Jai Gurudev, please
Yeah,
guide me.
I have several questions actually after going through this particular chapter. I mean, I understand Bhagavan speaking about all this, but we here knowing Bhagavan Krishna as a manifest form, but then there is this changeless, formless, and limitless. That's he called Bhagavan, right? I mean, so I wonder, like, I mean, even though he says, yeah, we do this as in the Karma Yoga path, we talked about those, you're doing result oriented worshipping or whatnot, karma palas oriented worshipping or nitya karma, or we are used to doing some of those things. So for me, I'm kind of waiting until, as Nana said, maybe we can ask this question tomorrow. If this is the thing, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, right? I mean, we so far, all this, the way we brought up, or this general, even with all this Swamijis or gurus, or I don't remember anybody saying that this is only one God, and especially with with this thing. But then again, you know, I mean, our knowledge is limited. But my knowledge, of course, it was limited because I didn't know everything. So in that case, how is this, even Shankara, who wrote Bhashyam for this Bhagavad Gita, you know, he did a lot of different things and worshipped, and he wrote up a lot of different uh, songs about praising gods and goddesses. So I really want to have some more clarity on this. So I'm still not very clear about it. I mean, one thing is very clear, that he wants us, like, if you want to attain moksha, that this is the path. At the same time, what do we do about the other things, you know? So how do we go about it?
Yeah,
So you
Jai
drop everything and go about it. That's what I'd like to know more about that.
I think when Krishna Bhagavan says, focus on me, keep your attention on me, it is the attributes of him. It's not his form as Krishna or Devaki Nandana. That is not what he's meaning, I guess. What he means is the Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That formless, that is the one that we have to focus on. And all the others, the demigods, so to say, are only they represent part of his Vaibhava. For instance, Ganesha, he is supposedly, although you can look at Ganesha as Ajam Nirvikalpam, he's also that. But if you are praying to Ganesha only to remove your obstacles, then you're limiting that, the limitless nature of Bhagavan. So I think when he means focus on me, it is the attributes, the the absolute Brahman is what he's meaning. So
how do
if
we
we
go
get
about
lost,
that? Like when we
yeah,
say attribute, then how do we go about that? I mean, I know we are given set of things to do, you know, like tools to get there. Of course, the meditation and other things can help you to realize the Atma and, I mean, go into that. But then again, like even when you're praying for other gods and goddesses, it's just for sometimes just to get peace of mind, or not really looking for anything, just do it as something that you normally do and as a part of your routine, you know, um, or you have the belief that you continue to do it. So I'm just
yeah,
wondering, what do we do about that?
yeah, meditating and contemplating upon these attributes is a prayer in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like aham, the very fact that aham brahmasmi, you contemplate on that, contemplate on the the ananda aspect, the absolute happiness, absolute bliss, and infinite nature, the knowledge nature, Satchidananda. So the more you keep thinking about that, then, like they say that Brahmara Kita Nyayam, the more you keep thinking about it, then there is it is not only helping cleanse your mind, it will also ultimately lead you there. Rather than that is the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, whereas Avyavasayatmika Buddhi, where you are getting frittered away, but there is that thing called Bahushaka Hyanantascha. So there are so many other distractions that we have. So after having reached this place, it is up to us to use our viveka and channelize our energies, channelize our effort to take us on this path, rather than fritter away our energy, effort, and time onto things which are which give us limited results. I think that is what it is. And I think this is happening. It happens you cannot force it upon yourself. Like,
Right.
so it's a gradual process, just like how dispassion happens gradually. And that is why Nana quoted the 3rd chapter where he says, do not
Mhm.
discourage, do not put down, do not look down upon
Correct.
those that are praying to these demigods or doing the homas, doing all the karma kanda. Do not, because even that is part of the evolution. So once you've realized that they only give you limited results, and that is not what your goal is. Once you're very clear in what your mumukshutvam, what your ultimate goal is, then they lose their significance. It's not like you're belittling them. You're not um, de-signifying them. They have their role. The mantras have their role. They,
Yeah.
of course, cleanse the environment, but don't just get stuck there. Go beyond. Contemplation is the highest form of prayer, and the more we dwell on the aspects of Brahman, uh, the closer we are to our goal. That's how I understood it.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's also the other thing is, I mean, of course, India is full of so many temples. And of course, here, they're doing different temples and all this, with many deities and all that, it's not, I mean, it's still, you are part of all these things, right? And that is something, that's why I thought, I thought I was waiting for the whole chapter to be done, and so we get some understanding and how do we go about those things. I mean, you still do certain things and yet focus on this attribute and meditate on this would be considered as totally you are dedicating to you this a Brahman or a Bhagavan, versus how is it to be done? That's my question.
Yeah. So here is where the guru comes. See, our guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, you see, he does not have to do any rituals or any pujas or chanting and all that. But yet he is following all the traditions and honoring all the devatas and doing everything. In fact, every sankalpa that is taken in the puja, they start with your Ishta Devata, Kula Devata, Grama Devata. They propitiate all these devatas. So as Brahmara said, we don't know at what level we are. At least I don't know at what level of cleansing I am. So I do get this sort of a comfort that, okay, I did not know about Kula Devata and all that. So nothing was done. But now I have come to the state of realization, okay, these are the steps to move, and definitely they give you some sort of a relief, some sort of a peace of mind. At least you feel, oh, I did this Kula Devata puja, some sort of a contentment. Your mind is rested. So in a way, it is up to us to balance. And as Percy G said yesterday, that when you do the guru's work, a lot of your karma gets cleansed. So again, you don't know at what stage you are in. So Guru knows where you are and how to take you to that highest state. So following what Gurudev says and does, even to a very small scale, I feel we are on the right path. And we don't have to worry about dropping everything and just contemplating on mumukshutva. Because, okay, Purushartha is essential, but the ultimate freedom is by Guru's grace only, no? Jnana Moolam Gurur Murti, Puja Moolam Gurur Padam, Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripa. So if we just stick to this one or two things that this is what I'm doing, one or two slokas which gives me comfort, I stick to that.
You are right. Every enlightened master who has come on this earth at different periods of time, like Jesus Christ said, the way to the Lord is through me, only through me. So, okay, if the Christians believe in Jesus Christ and they pray to Him, that's okay. There is harmony in diversity. There's nothing wrong. Nana also said that worship from the limited to the limitless, you progress. In Nath Sampradaya, now it's a Shravan, everything is Shiva. So everyone has their, some will say Shiva, some will say Brahma. It's okay, every way. It's the way of devotion, the path they follow. Many paths lead to the same end eventually. The goal is the same, different paths.
Yeah, and just to add to what others said, the idea is, I think in our culture and tradition, it's always emphasized that right through the day, as much as possible, your mind is engaged in God, either by chanting, remembering, whatever. So right from morning onwards, we have different prayers, right? If you look at our tradition, there are, the moment you get up, you have a prayer. Before you put your foot on the earth, you pray. Then when you take bath, there is a prayer. There's a lot of emphasis to keep our mind engaged in that. So all these pujas, homas and all, because you might not be able to sit and contemplate on the self for too long. But at other times also, how can you stay engaged with God? Is by maybe attend a puja, go to the temple, do all these. Is as much as possible, the mind should be engaged in those kind of things. I think Brahmaraji mentioned, otherwise there are so many distractions. We can easily get caught into something else. So how do we keep this mind engaged in the Lord in whatever way? That's the key. And after a while, maybe once you have evolved to such an extent, the refinement has happened, then yes, then you can probably be in the self all throughout without really having to even do a puja or whatever. But till that happens, the more we are engaged in all these activities, it's good, better than doing anything else. That's how I see it.
One can always progress from the form to the formless. And it happens in meditation. After I do my sadhana, I don't even have to take the mantra given to me. I just fall deep into sadhana. And suddenly when I resurface, then I say, oh, I have not yet taken my. So then I take the mantra and okay. And then continue with the meditation. But it's so deep, just moving from the form to the formless.
Jai Gurudev. I mean, I have been attending and taking sankalpa in yagyas and all. Not anything in mind of some fruit or coming out of it, but just because Guruji is doing, everybody else is taking sankalpa, just to participate. And I'm not very ritualistic, so always it is on the fence. Like, should I do it? Should I not do it? That kind of a thing. Now this has actually added on to the confusion in my mind, like what I was doing, definitely not anything keeping in mind like this, I need this, or something I was praying for. It just attending the puja was the pure intention, like Guruji is doing, okay, this is auspicious, we should do it. That was the only intention I have been having. So what should be the attitude? If at all I take a sankalpa, or should we be taking sankalpa? Of course, Vijayji just mentioned about like, yeah, we need to engage our mind in these things. Partially it answered my query. But what should be the right attitude if at all you feel like attending, or is it okay if we don't do this?
Yeah, so it's all about purifying the mind, no? It's, look, I think these are all karmas. Finally, at the end of it, all these things are karma, right? So you do that to purify your mind. And that's all Chitta Shuddhi. This is all for Chitta Shuddhi only, nothing else. So the more you are engaged in this, yes, mind is getting purified. If you have participated in a puja, yajna, homa, for sure there is purification happening. There's no doubt about that. But
And
yeah, after
I
a
think
point, you might not need. Sorry, yeah.
what I think that, of course, we are doing it from childhood. We have seen our elders are doing. So we do some kind of like regular pujas or attending to this function, that function. And when Gurudev has come into our lives, isn't it that we have expanded ourselves, that not for any personal sankalpa, but we are sitting in the groups. Now also when Shravana is coming, we are going to have these Rudra Pujas everywhere. So where maybe there is, now we have little bit little bit more understanding is there. That is why maybe there are not many personal small desires. But when we sit in the group, the atmosphere also gets purified, no? And we have our sankalpas are also now expanded. It's not that mere bacche ko ye hone do, mere ko ye hone do, and this we are taking. If you just look into yourself, you will understand that now automatically the sankalpas are, let this knowledge reach out to more people, or let for the betterment of the society, for the betterment. So do we observe this, that our sankalpas are also expanding? So don't go out of the way and attend 365 days Rudra Pujas and go on searching and going behind it. But at the same time, participate. Like otherwise, the mind is so flickery. कुछ ना कुछ उसको different entertainments कुछ ना कुछ तो चाहिए. You need to mind all the time tries to hook on to something. If these kind of things you don't engage it, definitely you will start going towards little by little, one step. पार्टी करो, इसको बुलाओ, उसको बुलाओ, कुछ ना कुछ तो करता ही रहता है माइंड. क्योंकि वो we enjoy this company, no? We want people संगा. तो यदि गुड संगा को नहीं होल्ड ऑन करोगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली स्लोली यू विल कम डाउन टू द पार्टीज एंड अदर थिंग्स. तो मुझे लगता है कि उतना ही रखो. वो अपने आप से मीन्स फ्रॉम योर इनर कॉल यू विल गेट टू नो वेयर टू ड्रॉ द लाइन. Don't get caught up into it fully like a karma kanda, because there is no end to it. Is also a limited, devloka is also a limited entity. So if you get caught up into this deva, that devta, usko please karu, you will go unending for lifetimes. You will get caught up over there. When this knowledge has come into our life, Gurudev has come into our life, keeping the eye on the formless, and continue. These devatas also, they bless us to move forward, but we ourselves limit ourselves by keeping small sankalpas. Then those devatas say tathastu and your punyas are finished over there. So if you demand from these devatas also, like when we do Sayyam, we are using different energies, different devatas, but for the ultimate cause, not for the limited joys or limited comforts. What do you say, Percy ji, Vijay ji?
Yeah, that's a really very good explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think Madhuri ji, as you very rightly said, it's a call we have to take at that time. What else would you do? What would you engage yourself in? Say, for example, at least I will talk about myself. If I have a session, Nanaji's session, for example, and at that same time I have a puja, I will attend Nanaji's session probably. For me, that knowledge is more appealing, or I feel that's more important for me than attending a puja. Yes, I will go and attend the next time or whatever. But that's where, if I am going to be doing something else, then yes, better attend the puja. This is how I would, evaluate which one is more important.
Yes.
Final objective is clear, right? Objective is very clear what we want to do. Moksha is our final objective. Uske liye whatever is propelling us to move in that direction is what we should be engaged in. If that is our ultimate aim. If there are other things, then yes, whenever this becomes the ultimate aim, then we can take corrective action. Otherwise, it is like evaluate at each stage, kaun sa is zyada zaruri hai, which leads me there.
Yes, perfectly right, Vijay.
Yes.
Perfectly right.
Thank you.
This is what even Gurudev said, no? That what comes out of Purnata is puja. What you express, the ultimate expression of Purnata is puja. So here, like when we are taking a sankalp, like somebody expressed just now, it is for like for everybody. It's not like we, for our own petty desires, we are asking, making a sankalp. Like the Maharajas used to have yagyas and homas, it was for the benefit of the entire kingdom that they used to take a sankalp. That way, that is one part of it, I feel. The cleansing effect of the mind, the purifying of the mind when the chanting is going on, that itself is one area that we need to look into. Puja does that too. And thirdly, when it comes, as far as I am concerned, is how many people can we take to such pujas who have not had an inclination to go for such pujas? And when they go there, then they come back all gaga that wow, what an effect it had on them, the chanting, the mantra chanting. So that kind of little bit of seva that we can do to take people to such, like now the Shravan Mass, as you said, all Rudra Pujas will be going on. How many people can we phone up, talk to, and say, come for the puja? It's a little extra that we can do, just then rather than take ourselves to the puja.
I think as long as you yoke yourself to the ultimate, yoke yourself to Brahman, anything else you do, that is, it gives you, it puts you in that space. The chapter 4, that shloka, Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi, Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. So then whatever action you're doing, you've yoked yourself to Brahman. So whatever you're doing, the act itself is Brahman. The the instruments you use are Brahman. So then that is the yoking, is what I think Bhagwan is talking of here, as in keep your focus on me, keep your sight on me. I think that is the thing. So whatever else we do, whether it's that's again bringing us back to the aspect of karma yoga, is you do everything in that bhava of as an offering. Everything is like a prayer. But
Very
then
nice.
this clarity has to be there. That is what is you have to yoke yourself. That yoking is that vyavasayatmika buddhi. And you're not getting frittered away. So it doesn't matter if you're attending a Shravan Mass, Rudra Puja, as long as you're contemplating then with your eyes closed, the mantras itself are so cleansing that mantra snan happens, and then you are reveling in the formless aspect of Brahman.
And also as grahasthas, it is important to at least give your children the role of these things in your tradition, in your culture, so that at a young age they are exposed to it and they do develop some sort of a attachment to this higher power. If we don't do it, then the children, we are not giving them the opportunity to get to know all these things, and I think that is not right. So some balance. At home, you need to do something for the continuity, and for your own personal growth, you do the contemplation.
Which is why at this point, doing the Nitya Karma is very important. As a Grihastha, we will have to continue doing our Nitya Karma. So these little things, when what you want to include in your Nitya Karma, you decide. As in, is it Sandhya Vandan? Is it some puja that you want to do daily? So that you have to hold on and do it. So as a Grihastha, we have to continue doing that. At the same time, when bringing back to what Vijayji mentioned about prioritizing, what do I want to do at this point of time? So if I was given a choice between, say, attending a Rudra Puja versus reading up the Gita home study and revising that, I probably would choose the second one, because that ultimately knowledge is what cleanses. So that shift, I think, would happen, and it happens to anybody, to everybody, as a in due course of time. So that, I think, because ultimately it is knowledge that cleanses, knowledge that takes you to your goal. So that shift, I guess, is one's inner journey and inner revolution.
Yeah, that has really given a lot of clarity. Thank you.
Ultimately, expansion in every aspect of our life will give you that freedom.
It is not like you are resisting doing a puja. It is not like you're against doing a puja. But even if you're, for instance, in a situation where you are attending a puja, you revel in the attributes of the Brahman while sitting there. That itself will take you. That's the yoking, as I see. Otherwise, we're caught up again in raga and dvesha. The reason why we're doing all of this is to free ourselves from raga dvesha. So we're not craving to do this, and this with respect to karma kanda. Neither are we averse to that. So if you can be natural, just like how water flows, you can be natural, and then but keeping your sight, keeping your that's why that shloka of Brahmarpanam is so very significant. Everything is an offering. Everything is Brahman. You're reveling in that. You're in that Brahmachari Tattva, wherein you're reveling in the infinite.
Which sloka is that you said? Brahma Arpana?
It's a shloka in chapter 4. I don't remember the number.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember there was something that we read about it. But
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Vijayji, you can share chapter 2. We've just got 5-6 minutes.
That's chapter 4 and 24th verse. Brahma Arpanam Brahma Kavir Brahmanakuttam.
Where do we start from? Yeah. Anybody remembers where did we stop?
We did that Sthita Pragya yesterday.
Okay. So here, difference between binding and non-binding desires. Arjuna wanted to know the what this we did, right?
Yes. Yes.
We did all this, I think.
Okay, even binding, non-binding we have done.
Mhm. Yeah, we kind of staying in the same part, I think. Can you move forward and see? Let's see. Non-binding desires, not the problem.
I think we were on shloka 55. I'm not sure whether you were able to go beyond that. You could go to
No,
55.
we are in the same thing only. We didn't move up.
Yeah, it's still 55 only. 55 has a lot of explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you, that everything to be done for,
Okay.
what is that to be done? Mm. Okay. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you are everything, what is there to be done? As Krishna told Arjuna in the 3rd chapter, a wise person is not bound by his or her desires and is not subject to any kind of mandate. Desires are only binding if you take yourself to be a karta, a doer. Only then do you have things to do. Only then you have things to do. Only then can there be dereliction of duty. If, on the other hand, you do not look upon yourself as a karta and are awake to the knowledge of yourself, there is no question of the self being a doer. Therefore, there is no doership and nothing to be done. Lord Krishna told Arjuna that because he had no desires, he had nothing to do. Because Krishna is everything and everything is himself, what is there to be accomplished? Nevertheless, he was always active, meaning that all the activities he performed were non-binding. If activities are non-binding, the prompting factor of activity, a karma, must also be non-binding. Here in the Gita, non-binding karma is not the topic. Only binding karma is discussed. The placement of the words when yada and then tada in this verse is also significant. The word then comes much later, and until it comes, the force of the word then continues. When a man gives up all desires as they arise and being happy with himself, in himself, only then can he be called a Siddha Prajna. The force of when is the same for both conditions, when he gives up all desires and when he is happy with himself, in himself, depending on nothing for his happiness. Therefore, one gives up all desires arising in one's mind that are binding in nature, the desires to be secure, to be happy, to be somebody, and so on. A person who is secure with himself or herself gives up such desires naturally. The word tusta in the verse does not merely mean happiness. It implies security also. The insecure cannot be tusta, happy. Therefore, one who is secure is also happy. And giving up all desires is possible only when one is happy with oneself. Thus, the definition of Siddha Prajna is complete. What else can be said? One who is happy with oneself is a wise person who can totally accept himself or herself because the self is acceptable. The self is perfect. It is not imperfect. Perfection means that there is no sense of imperfection whatsoever. The self is free from any sense of imperfection, and the whole creation, the whole world, the universe is non-separate from the self. Because the self is complete, Purna, it cannot be improved upon. Just as the sweetness of sugar cannot be improved upon, so too the fullness of the Atma cannot be improved upon. Being awake to that fact, the person is happy. To be wise, you must have wisdom. This then is the Lakshana, the definition of a wise person. To be wise requires wisdom, nothing else. How a wise person walks, talks, and sits means nothing. Anyone can learn to walk in a certain way. And if the definition of a wise person is that he or she talks slowly, then everyone who talks slowly would be a jnani. The speed at which one talks or how one walks mean nothing. Wisdom alone makes one wise, just as being friendly is the only way to make friends. There is no other way. Similarly, some people ask how they can develop love. All that is to be done is to love. What else can you do? You cannot discover love outside of love itself. If you want to discover more love, be loving. Create conditions that will help you discover love, conditions that are not inimical to the discovery of love. People often create certain conditions in themselves, knowingly or unknowingly, that are inimical to the discovery of love. If you avoid doing this, you will find that you are loving. Love is a manifestation of one's fullness. Love is nothing but the express form of fullness, Ananda. And just as wheat flour takes on names just as bread, rolls, and muffins, so too love is subject to various forms. The different names given to wheat represent modifications of wheat. Similarly, love is a simple emotion, which is a modification or manifestation of Ananda. If you analyze love, you will find nothing but Ananda. The manifest form of Ananda is love, and love itself turns into such natural qualities as sympathy, compassion, and giving, depending upon the situation. And when that same love is distorted in any way, it becomes karma, leading to negative emotions, such as greed, anger, depression, and so on. All of this then are nothing but one expression of Ananda, love. This is why we say love is Bhagavan, meaning that the express form of Ananda is Bhagavan. Let me read that one more time, 1 second. Can you scroll back? Okay. Right. The manifest form of Ananda is love, and love itself turns into such natural qualities as sympathy, compassion, giving, depending upon the situation. And when the same love is distorted in any way, it becomes karma, leading to negative emotions such as greed, anger, depression, and so on. All of this then are nothing but one expression of Ananda, love. This is why we say love is Bhagavan, meaning that expressed form of Ananda is Bhagavan. Then what is Bhagavan? The essential form of Bhagavan is Satchit Ananda. And the express form of Ananda, Ishvara, the Lord, is love. The modifications of this love can be either positive or negative. Sympathy and compassion are examples of the positive modifications of love, whereas negative modifications are anger, greed, jealousy, and so on. All that is there is one Ananda, expressed or unexpressed. Unexpressed, it is the Swarupa, the very nature of fullness, which is the definition of Ananda. Expressed, it becomes love, prema. We shall see more of these definitions later. So pretty much my answer is here. Here the Siddha Prajna is one who discovers the Ananda in himself or herself and knows that there is nothing other than oneself. When one says, I am the whole, it means that the person is himself or herself, the fulfillment of all desires. We shall see as we proceed how the discovery of oneself and the fulfillment of all desires are not separate but identical. So that was the end of it.
Next
So
we'll
that-
start tomorrow, no? 56.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyone want to share anything?
We have to all become Sthita Pragyas.
Yeah, that was really nice. You know, Sumaji, we want to say the prayer.
Is there.
Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev,
Jai
thank you
Gurudev.
so much.
Jai Gurudev. Dhanyavad
Hari Om.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jai
everyone.
Gurudev. Thank you.